Ladies and gentlemen, today I would like to share about the post-pandemic prospect for the food and beverage industries. Next, please. Next. Okay, if we talk about the food and beverage industries, of course, we have to know about the Indonesia. Indonesia is a big country, archipelago countries, with the fourth largest population in the world. And the important thing for the food and beverage industry is the food expenditure per capita in Indonesia. Based on the data, said that almost 50% of the expenditure of the population in Indonesia is for food and beverages. And processed foods contributes around 1/3 of the consumptions. Next, please. And this is the structure of the Indonesian populations with the millennial and Gen Z around more than 53% of the populations. It's a big opportunity because you know what is the millennial and Gen Z characters. They are not loyal to the one or two brands, but they like to try new products. Always they try a new experience. They like looking for the new experience. And that's why this is opportunity for all the businesses to innovate a new product for them, serving for them. This is an opportunity, I think, also for the food and beverage industries. Next. And we can see that the Indonesian economic, especially for the first quarter 22nd, the economic growth already growing up more than 5%, and this we can see the still contribute the contributions. The most contribution is coming from the Java Islands, more than 57%. So that's why the many industries, food and beverage industry, concentrate in the Java Islands, even though the populations spread out on all the Indonesia. Next, please. And governments Indonesia have a new vision for 2045, which is the Indonesian 100 years. And the GDP per capita predicted become 23,000 US dollar. Currently, our GDP per capita is around 4,300. With the high GDP, of course, the consumers will looking for processed food with more variety, more quality, added value, better quality, and more functional. So this is against the opportunity for the businesses to innovate the new products with more added value, not only selling the low price only or low price products. So that's why this is also we have to innovate the new product for food and beverages industries. And also the household consumption contributed more than 53%. This is a high consumptions for the Indonesian populations. And due to that, the food and beverage industries still grow positive during the pandemic COVID-19. In 2020, our industry growth 1.58%, and last year our growth is 2.54%. And this third quarter, our growth is 3.75%. So always positive growth, even though in the lower levels. The normal growth of the food and beverage industry is around 7 to 9% actually. And the contribution to the GDP is quite significant. To the GDP non-oil industries is more than 38%. So that's why we are contribute a lot of for the Indonesian economic. Next. And we can see the PMI index now it's become normal, more than 50 level. Is it normal activity in the industries? This is showing that the Indonesian economic is growing and towards to the normal recovery. Next. And we can see the investment realizations. Investment realizations in food and beverage industry is quite okay, good. Last year, the dominated by growth positive by the foreign direct investment, and this year's the domestic direct investment already showing the positive growth, 27%, and in general, foreign and domestic direct investment is still positive. So that's why this is investor is looking new opportunity for the food and beverage industries in Indonesia. Next. And for the exports product of food and beverage industry also growing. We can see total food growth is around 43, almost 44%. This is quite significant growth for the food and beverage industry products, with included palm oil and non-palm oil. Next. And if we see the semi-processed and processed food only, HS number 16 to 24, also showing our export also growth last year's from the 7.8 billion US dollar to 9.3 billion US dollar. It's quite significant. Next. Next, and this is just only showing the balance. And next, and if we analyze in the third quarter 2020, our export growth from the HS number 16 to 24 is around 66%. So during the pandemic, we can still get a positive growth, quite significant 66%. This is showing that many opportunities, many demand of the food and beverage product all over the world. Next, please. And this is just showing our main country partner of the food and beverage industry. Of course, the most countries is the United States, and then second Philippines, China, Malaysia, etc. Next. This is and next is our top 20 import countries partners of Indonesia. Next. Okay, next. Okay, and if we talk about the pandemic COVID-19, we see the pandemic COVID-19 is up and down in Indonesia, and last year's you can see if we correlation with the PMI index in July, the top pandemic COVID-19, our economic is struggling. So that's why the PMI index is dropped a lot in the level around 40. But government and all stakeholders can manage well the pandemic COVID, as mentioned by the Vice Rector of the Triatma. And now not impact a lot to the economics because all stakeholders already has experience and can manage well the economic. And you can see even though in last February the pandemic COVID is grow in the top level, but the economic still running well, not impacted a lot to the economic. So this is the good collaboration all stakeholders to manage well the pandemic in COVID-19 impacts. Next. And during the pandemic since 2020, we have, I noted around 5 crises during the pandemic COVID. From the first health crisis, of course, because of the pandemic COVID-19, and then continue with the economic crisis because the several quarters is negative growth of the economic in the several countries. And then followed by the logistic crisis. This is very big impact to all industries because the increment of the logistic cost is very high. If we export, shipping cost is growing around 5 to 6 times compared to the normal conditions. And then followed by the commodity crisis because unbalanced production and demand in all over the world for the food product commodity. And then continued with the energy crisis because currently we are difficult to separate between the energy and food because many resource of the food is become energy resource also as well because many countries now considers food material as a new renewable energy. In Indonesia, we use palm oil, and many countries like Brazil, they use sugar cane for the energy. Korea, China, they use tubers, cassava, etc. for the energy. So many countries do this. So that's why if the food commodity increase, the price increase, of course, energy also become also increase, and that is impact to the industries that even though our sales, our growth industries is growing positive, but our cost is increased very much impacted by the increment of the logistic commodity energy price, and of course this is impact to the profitability, our profitability. And then the 22nd, we continued with the Ukraine-Russia war. So this is also impacted again to the food price and energy price. Before the Ukraine-Russia war, I hope that the commodity price become normal or lower, but it's not happens because the war, and then the commodity prices increase again, and including the energy and logistic costs. Next, please. This is the showing that FAO report again in 2022, the food commodity price increase, even though some commodity lower, like vegetable oil, trends lower, but another commodity like dairy, cereals is still in the high levels because of the commodity of the Ukraine-Russia war. Next. And this is also, again, many countries now ban the export of food commodity, like India ban wheat export and also the sugar export. So this is the new trend in the world. So this is impact to the price increase, and also, of course, about the food insecurity. So that's why this is a warning to all the countries to prepare with the food insecurity. Next. So this is the list, around 14 countries bans on food exports, including Indonesia for the several times, but now Indonesia already released for the palm oil export since 23rd May 2022. But other countries like Argentina, Algeria, Egypt, and other etc., including India, still ban food export. So this will impact the inflation, of course. Next. Next, please. Oh, yeah, okay. So this is impact to the inflations. As we see, Indonesia also increased the inflations, and food and beverage, of course, contribute the most contributors of the inflation in Indonesia, because the consumption spending consumption per capita is around 50% in Indonesia. So that's why we have to be careful and to prepare the impact of this inflation in Indonesia. Next. And after the pandemic or during the pandemic, food consumption patterns trends is many changing in the food consumption trends. We can see many consumers concerned about the food origins, home delivery, home cooking experience. Many Indonesian populations now experience in the home cookings, and also packaging concern for the food safety, looking for immune booster foods, less street food, and food safety concern. Of course, this is become a concern of the consumers in Indonesia. And the new trends is plant-based food is become a trend currently, because many consumers now concerned about the health diet, and they are looking for the plant-based foods in all over the world. This is become a new trend in food and beverage industries. So this is will impact all over the world, including the Indonesia. And currently the trend, especially for the middle up class, they are looking for the healthier choice, healthier foods become a trend in their diets. So this is also open the opportunity for all of us to innovate the new products that become healthier. Next. Next. And during the pandemic also impact to the industries, and the factory have to arrange the new outlet, layout, workforce, SOP, mitigation, etc. Because of pandemic, we have to make our operations become less human-to-human contact, and also this is to improve our food safety procedures. So the trend in the medium big companies industries currently is a human-machine interface, and that is the implementation of the Industry 4.0 in Indonesia. Next. The industry, next please. Okay. The Making Indonesia 4.0 is already launched in Indonesia before pandemic in 2018, and now accelerate by the pandemic COVID, during the pandemic COVID. So that's why the government make a priority in implementation Making Indonesia 4.0. Next please. Like food and beverage become the first priority of the implementing Making Indonesia 4.0, and government already prepared the scheme, the index, and also the procedure of the implementing the Making Indonesia 4.0. This is a good opportunity for us to improve our efficiency, our production safety, etc. with the implementing Industry 4.0 in our industries. Next. But this is the challenging of the implementing Industry 4.0, like we need more data center with sufficient data capacity, safe and affordable, and also, of course, the cybersecurity, infrastructure, power supply, our regulations, innovation, technology providers. Currently, we still import a lot of technology to implement Industry 4.0, and of course, capitals and investments. And the important thing is advanced human skills. This is where is needed to improve our competency and our digital skill of the human resources. So this is the role of the university is very important to improve this demand. Next. And our government through the Ministry of Industry already prepare what we call it Digital Capability Centers, DCC, with partnership with the McKinsey. Now this is become a center of implementing Industry 4.0, and industry can utilize this facility to implement and sharing knowledge, sharing innovation, etc. through this center. Next. And currently, after pandemic, government still concerned about the economic recovery. You can see the spending of the governments for the economic strengthening, and also community strengthening, and also healthcare is still become the big spending of the governments for economic recovery. So we are happy because the government still support us for the economic strengthening, and especially for the community strengthening to improve the buying power of the middle low class income. So this is very important for the food and beverage industry to get stable and grow because of the government support. Next. And for the industry itself, we also supported by government with under the new government regulation 28 2021. Government also ensure the raw material for industry, including food and beverage industry, because we unfortunately our industry still import many of the food commodity for our raw materials. So that's why this is very important, and governments through the President Decree 32/2022, government with already prepared with the Neraca Komoditas or commodity balance systems, and this is very support to our availability of our raw materials. Next. And this is our dream, our aim to make agro and food industry resilience, affordable, and competitive for the global value chains. This scheme is to make an ecosystem with support all stakeholders, including how to make a sustainable raw material is very important for the food and beverage industries, because we still a lot import, as I mentioned previously, not only from local but also from import. So with the global situation currently, this is become our concerns to make our raw materials stable and available all the years. And also we need conducive policy and regulations, consistent, synchronized upstream to downstream, and also collaboration all stakeholders. And we need support from the innovation and technology. Government already support with support tax deductions for the innovation and vocations. Also, this is related to the university, I think. And also we need support from the human capital. Next, please. That our human capital needs more competent, skilled, reliable, and we need also support from the government infrastructure and logistic to make a more competitive and efficient in logistic costs. So those ecosystem is supported by the implementing Making Indonesia 4.0 and also implementing undang-undang new law of Cipta Kerja. I think we hope our agro and food industry can grow resilience, affordable, and competitive for global value chain. And lastly, next please. This is our outlook for the F&B industry in 2022 and beyond. After post-pandemic COVID-19, food and beverage industry still become important pillar of the food supply chain in Indonesia. I believe the consumption towards normal modes and economic will be better. Purchasing power of the medium-low income class will improve because the support of the government, as I mentioned, and also the upper middle class will shop along with the less fear in the new normal after post-COVID-19. And millennials and Gen Z love to try new products and experience. This is encourage innovation in the food and beverage industries, and consistency of the government's economic recovery program is important as our support. And so that's why we believe with these conditions, we are optimistic the economic growth becomes stable, more than 5%, and export markets as reported stable or even growing, domestic market also growing, and we hope that F&B industries can grow is around 5 to 7% in end of this year. So I think this is an opportunity for all businesses and entrepreneurs to enter the food and beverage industries as contributing to Indonesian economic recovery post-pandemic COVID. Thank you very much for your kind attention. Thank you.